Hi-do-ho, Drinkerinos. Welcome to the Idaho Booze Podcast. My name is Steve Kuntz, and I will be hosting you today. On this week's pod, we welcome a new Gem State Brewing pirate, Bryce Tuttle, owner and brewer from Brown Beard Brewing. We will be talking all about his Garden City Brewery, what got him into the brewing game, and the treasure hunt going on at his Brown Beard Brewing Company. Arrgh. We'll also have some fun new beers from Brown Beard in Friday Night Pints and a frank discussion on a hot topic in Idaho, legalized weed. All that and more on this week's episode of the Idaho Booze Podcast. This week's Warren Reserve cocktail of the week is the Coffee Pecan Old Fashioned. I like to make old fashions in the glass. I don't need to get like a shaker out or anything like that. I just like to add that one big rock. I throw that in the glass. Then I'm going to put in the simple syrup, which is half an ounce of simple syrup. And then I'm going to do the bitters first. So I do all that before I put the booze in. So in case you make a mistake with the bitters or the simple syrup, you can dump it out and not waste any booze. Isn't that smart? I thought you would like that. Anyway, so we're going to add a half ounce simple syrup to the glass. We're going to do 4 dashes of the Warren Reserve barrel-aged coffee pecan bitters. We're going to go ahead and do 4 big dashes of that. And then I'm going to do 1 dash of orange bitters on top of that. And then I'm going to add my bourbon or my rye. That's going to be 2 ounces of bourbon or rye. I like rye in an old fashioned. I just do. I like the flavor. I just like how it kind of gives a little extra dip of flavor there. But if you got bourbon, use bourbon. It's all good. It's all good. So you add the bourbon or rye. You stir that with a nice little stir spoon until the glass is cold to the touch. Then you get your orange peel. You express the orange peel in and around the glass. And that's it. Enjoy your Coffee Pecan Old Fashioned. That is the Warren Reserve cocktail of the week. This show brought to you by Warren Reserve Cocktail Company. Looking to spice things up in the cocktail department? Try adding a little taste of chili to your next cocktail with Chili Lime Bitters from Warren Reserve. Just 2 drops will give your old fashioned, whiskey sour, or margarita just the right amount of zing to warm you up in these cold winter months. Want to feel the burn? Just add another 2 drops. Chili Lime Bitters turn a simple Bloody Mary into a beautiful spicy Bloody without adding more mix or booze. Just a couple of drops of Chili Lime Bitters will do ya. Get Chili Lime Bitters at warrenreserve.com, order online, get free delivery, plus save 15% on orders over $40 with my promo code IdahoBooze25 at checkout. That's warrenreserve.com, IdahoBooze25 at checkout. Save tons of money on awesome bitters from Warren Reserve Cocktail Company. Welcome back to the show. Today we are discussing weed in Idaho, and that is because just this week, HB 7, a bill proposing a mandatory $300 minimum fine for possessing up to 3 ounces of cannabis, advanced through committee to the state legislature. So that's going to be voted on in a couple of weeks. And just so you know, here in Idaho, I know there's a lot of people that may be from out of town that might listen to this or that just moved here. It is currently illegal to have any kind of weed. You can't have medicinal, you can't have recreational, you can't have gummies, you can't have even CBD pet treats are even illegal. So totally illegal. All weed in the state right now illegal. And so this new bill, HB 7, proposes a mandatory $300 minimum fine for possessing 3 ounces of cannabis, which could be described as like your own cannabis. Like, I don't think you're going to go out and sell like 3 ounces of cannabis. You know what I mean? So this is just your own private stash. You can get a $300 fine for this minimum if this bill passes here in the next couple of weeks. Sponsor of this bill is this guy named Jordan Redmond. He's from Coeur d'Alene. And I looked him up. He's sort of your typical sort of legislature guy in that he attended a bunch of colleges, never got a degree, and then opened an insurance company, ran that for a little while, then went ahead and ran for office. And I guess the good people of Coeur d'Alene decided he was their guy. So this guy is the guy that's proposing this bill. The bill would give police a reason to stake out the highways between Boise and Ontario, Lewiston and Clarkston, Coeur d'Alene and Spokane, etc., all over the state. The weed ticket will not go in front of a judge. So whoever gets it will not have a chance to prove their innocence. You know, maybe the weed was left in there by someone else, or maybe they were, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter because this is a ticket and it goes on your record and you have to pay the fine, the minimum of $300, which means it could be more. Like, it starts at $300. So it could be more than that. It doesn't matter if you're a veteran suffering from PTSD or a cancer patient or anything else. It does not matter. They could not have made this more clear. Or if you're just a guy who doesn't drink anymore but wants to chill out, whatever the case, it doesn't matter because the cop handing out this ticket is the judge, the jury, and the executioner. And we know it doesn't matter because a bunch of veterans and cancer patients and veterans that are cancer patients got in front of this committee and pleaded their case for medicinal marijuana that included this guy, a vet, decorated, I think he was Air Force, but I could be wrong. He had stage 4 cancer and was dealing with unbelievable pain. Every doctor he had told him to seek out medicinal marijuana. And the committee responded to this hero who got up in front of him, pleaded his case, said, please don't do this. This is really going to screw over a lot of people. The committee responded to this hero by asking if he considered moving to another state that has legalized marijuana. Yeah, this lady just asked him straight up, hey, Army hero, who we should be wanting in our state, people that we should want here. This guy's stricken with cancer, stage 4, had to go through chemo and all this other stuff. And this lady had the balls to be like, why don't you just move? What a group of amazing leaders we have. This guy Redmond and this other lady suggesting that the best of us just move to another state because medical and for damn sure recreational marijuana is never going to be legal here. So it's important to know what's going on with legalized marijuana because the people who don't like weed typically don't like booze either. These same people, this guy Redmond, this jerk Heather Scott from Blanchard, that's the lady who asked the cancer-stricken vet if he could please move out of the state. Who else do we have here? The Idaho Family Policy Center. God knows who those people are. The Idaho, quote, Freedom, unquote, Foundation. All of these watchdog groups who claim to know what's best for you and me will be coming back to us later with lower DUI limits on what can be sold inside or outside liquor stores, limits on how many drinks you will be allowed to consume when you're out and about. That's what these people all work towards. These groups, these leaders, they don't care that the state of Idaho spends more than $10,000 less per student than the national average in education spending. They don't care that only 44% of Idaho high school graduates go to college, that 64% of funding for Idaho's roads come from the federal government, or that Idaho is at the bottom of the list in infrastructure spending in the whole country. I mean, you got places like New Hampshire and Vermont and other states that are way smaller than Idaho that spend way more in infrastructure than we do. And the government, the governor, all these guys all talk about how we have such low taxes. I've been to these things before and seen them say this stuff. Low taxes, and Idaho is this awesome place for corporations to come in. That's great. Awesome. Good for the corporations. I mean, really, it's nice. We need more jobs, yada, yada, yada. But what about us? What about the people that live here and pay taxes? Why don't we have better schools, better roads, better parks, better infrastructure, like freeway systems? Hello. In our quickly growing state, Idaho is one of the fastest growing states in the country. Why are there only 3 lanes of highway between Coeur d'Alene and Spokane, or between Nampa and Boise? Why is there only one freeway between Nampa and Boise? Have you ever been stuck on that traffic? It's like an hour and a half. Why is Highway 21 always in some state of disrepair? It's always fucked up. Always. Why does Highway 55 suck to drive on in the winter? It's not much better in the summer, by the way. Why does it cost $90 to ski at Bogus Basin when it's operated by a nonprofit? Or Silver Mountain, which I think is also operated by a nonprofit. I could be wrong about Silver. Why isn't the Boise River as friendly to fly fishermen as it is to people on inner tubes? Yeah. I mean, you go out in the Boise River to fly fish, you have to go all the way into the river to do it because they don't cut back any of the shrubbery or anything that's on the outside of the river. If you go anywhere else, those are taken care of. They're set up so people can fish. Even go down to Utah, they're set up that way. I don't get it. I don't understand why they give Micron and Chobani these great big tax cuts while they try to stick us with a minimum $300 fine for an arbitrary amount of weed, which is legal in some capacity in 4 out of the 5 states that border Idaho. Did you know that? Did you know that even Utah has legalized medicinal marijuana? Utah. So I'm not talking about like this is some religious thing or something. These are people that are trying to hold back our state from getting funding for these things because of some ideal in their head that everything was better back in 1945. I don't understand why we're the only state out of this group of states in our area in the Mountain West that don't have some form of legalized marijuana. And all we do is what are we counting on? Like the lottery? Please understand that I do not personally use recreational or medicinal marijuana. I'm not really a weed guy. I am a beer guy. I mean, that could not be more plain. But I do understand why people use it. And I also see other states. I go to Colorado, I go to Washington, go to Oregon. God, even Oregon. With legalized weed that have amazing roads, better schools, nicer parks than we have in Idaho. And it's time that we start demanding more. Idaho is a great state. It's an amazing state. I love living here. I love going out. I love the air. I love our mountains. I love everything about the state. But we could be better. And the way that we get better is by bringing more money in. And I don't think taxes should be raised, especially when there's this thing sitting there that the state legislature could use to make a shit ton of money for our state. And all they have to do is legalize marijuana. That's all they have to do. Not even for recreational use, just medicinal. And it would add millions to our coffers. So maybe our state should look around at its neighbors and see the million positives that come with legalized marijuana instead of charging its people for doing something that doesn't hurt anybody and in some cases can be medicinally beneficial for a lot of people while being financially beneficial for all of Idaho. Coming up, the head pirate of Brown Beard Brewing, Bryce Tuttle. Nice guy. Came on the show. Actually, I went out there. I went to his little pirate ship out there in Garden City to talk all about his brewery, why he's brewing beer on his own little pirate ship, and the treasure hunt he's leading. All that coming up next on the Idaho Booze Podcast. It is officially winter cabin season in Idaho, and there is no better place to stock up than Treasure Valley Chevron. TVC carries an amazing selection of craft beer, wine, hard seltzers, and other fun adult beverages that will turn a lazy weekend at the cabin into an epic mountain party. TVC also carries plenty of other essentials for mountain living, like propane, firewood, s'mores materials, and you might even find a cozy blanket. TVC has it all. Snap a picture of yourself picking up some cabin essentials at TVC. Win a free box of jerky from Old Wisconsin. Just send the picture to us at idahobooze@gmail.com to enter to win a huge box of jerky from Treasure Valley Chevron. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Kuntz, and with me is Bryce Tuttle from Brown Beard Brewing. Bryce, how are we doing today?
Doing well. Yeah. Thank you for coming down and having me on the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me in your pirate ship / barrel house here. This is so welcome. Really cool. We've got, a lot of Jolly Roger-esque. We got dueling pistols on the wall here. We have some
stolen from
stuff.
Blackbeard himself.
You got those from
Blackbeard himself.
Now, Blackbeard is a brewery down the road, right? This is Brown Beard.
This is Brown Beard. I guess you could call me the less well-known, less good-looking of a brother. He had something that people wanted to follow as far as like the whole folklore goes. I just have beer, and people love it, but I guess I don't. You got to start putting more firecrackers in my beard.
Yeah, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. It's something I've done in my beard, and it's a great way to go.
Yeah, right on.
Not only does it look good, but it feels good too. So you guys opened up. Actually, I don't know, when did you guys open up? How long have you guys been brewing?
I opened up shop March 10th of 23. So this coming March will be 2 years as officially as brewery.
Wow. And what were you doing before that?
I did a lot of things. Just give you a quick rundown. I was in the Army, got out of the Army. I became a river ranger in Hell's Canyon. Did that for several years. Came home and kind of took care of my grandma for a short time. And then while I wasn't working, I started thinking, I got to get into a career. So I became an electrician. And then from doing electrical work, doing a lot of traveling, went to Micron. And then On Semiconductor, which is kind of the same thing as a Micron, it's a fab. And then I got into brewing beer and opened up a shop. I spent a couple of years in transition looking for a brewery, working as a facilities manager for a company downtown. So learned so a lot. But all those jobs kind of really tied in at Micron and On. I worked on pumps, wastewater systems, did a lot of electrical. So I wired my control panel for the original brewery myself. Built it, and it's all helped. It's all helped a lot.
Geez, that's another Micron guy, Adam from Alliteration, also from Micron.
I was there for a year, almost exactly.
Yeah.
So then I was like really ready to open a brewery. So, and then with On Semi, it was 3 years. So I mean, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's awesome. So you're able to wire up your own brewery, get that going. And now the original brewery's across the street. It's down on Maple Grove in Chicken, right?
Yeah. About just under 2 miles away from the new spot.
Okay, cool. And what do you like about the new spot? How has it been different? How has it kind of changed what you've done? I see a couple of barrels. I assume there's more barrels.
Yeah.
If it is indeed the barrel room. So how has the new area sort of changed the way you guys do business at Brown Beard?
It's been fantastic having a lot more space. At the old brewery, I was brewing days when we were closed. So here, there's a whole separate brew area. So all that space, I brewed on Saturday, and just having that space back there means production can go from two days a week to 7 days a week if necessary. That's huge. The tap room itself, along with we rebuilt the new bar to hold 7 people, so a larger bar. The tap room itself is probably pretty close if you count the bar area and then the seating area to the size of the other place. But and then we can add the addition of the brewery and then addition of the barrel room. So when Barbarian took this spot and turned it into a brewery, they put that as the barrel room, and gosh, he put out some of the best barrel aged beers I've had. So I was really excited when I was able to get into this place because I know that room works for barrels, and that's kind of something that I've been really interested in getting into since 2017 when I was just homebrewing. I never had a good.
If you're going to be a pirate brewery, you have to have barrels.
Gotta have barrels, yeah. It's gotta happen. Those two are empty when you walk in the door, but we kind of put stenciled our logo in like metallic gold, so when you walk in, you see the barrels, and you're kind of set up for the barrel room.
Yeah, and it's very cool in here. You have a lot of really nice. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean kind of. You have really nice lighting. You have the kind of the black walls and everything.
Black and gold.
Black and gold, and everything adorning the walls and everything. It's a really cool vibe that you have in here. So how in terms of the amount of people you're able to bring in now, how many more people can you bring in now than before was just the one place?
The occupancy here is up about 50%. So my other spot's 40, and then this place is 68. So
the other spot's kind of small, right?
It's
in kind of
it's like a 1,300 square foot room
exactly.
You got about 800 square feet of seating. So this is about 1,300 square feet of seating in just these rooms.
Yeah.
We use the barrel room, so we're about to bring in the Talbot brothers, and I did a pre-sale for like our Mug Club members, and then they put the pre-sale on their newsletter, and gosh, we sold 74 tickets before it even went on for sale, and it sold out like in a day and a half. So but we'll have about 90 people in the back room there.
That's great.
In chairs. And so we took the original bar that Barbarian put, and we rolled that thing back into the back room and stapled it down. So we have an area back there that has a bar. So we'll be able to serve from 2 separate areas, which is really nice. So if you're at a show, you don't have to like come all the way out here
to get a beer.
To see, yeah. So we don't want to do a lot of music here. I want to do really more like special events here, because music's gonna stay at our other spot. We're just doing that. They're like an independent artist.
But music is kind of a big thing in what you guys do, right?
Yeah. I've been a musician since I don't know. I was in the 7th grade. Okay. I wouldn't call myself a musician back then because I was just learning, but just picked up a guitar in the 7th grade and played in several bands since then. So music's always had a good place in my heart. We do two shows a week down there, and then here we'll do more special events.
Okay.
But I'm excited to do some barrels. I have 12 racks, which is enough to get started with 24 barrels, which is plenty for a brand new brewery. So the goal is over the course of 2025 is to really get our barrel program built up, and hopefully have enough barrels to fill all of those racks. If I'm halfway there, I mean, the initial cost is a little expensive, especially for a smaller brewery. So if I'm halfway there, I'll feel really good about it. But the goal is to really focus on getting as many barrels as I can back there, and doing more of a robust offering. And
well, it's definitely something you have to build into the budget, right?
Yeah. That kind of came out of nowhere.
Barrels didn't used to be all that expensive now. I mean, you have places charging upwards of $300 and $400 each for them. It's ridiculous.
You can get a really good special barrel. It could cost you up to $600.
So which beers, what are you thinking that is going to be your first foray into barrel aging? Are you going to go stout?
Yeah, so we actually have 2 barrels in the back full of Sins of Our Fathers from our Crooked Fence.
Crooked.
Yeah, so I got lucky. My artist did a little bit of work for them after the original owners sold. So his name's Justin Cooper, and he did some work for the second owner of Crooked Fence. And I just asked him one day, do you think they'd be interested? And he's like, I don't know, I'll ask. And so he asked, and Jeff Cutler, the latest owner, came down and met me, and he seemed pretty excited to bring some of the beers back.
Yeah.
And so I got the opportunity, and we've got a Willet and a Four Roses barrel full of Sins. So
I was wondering about that connection because I don't know the new owners. I know the old ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder what the connection here is between those guys and this guy. And so it sounds like you guys just had the idea to sort of brew this beer, and then you kind of came together.
So I think of it as like we're in the Crooked Fence old stomping grounds because they were in the next building over. And so we actually did a version of Sins of Our Fathers called Old Stomping Grounds that I put toasted coconut chocolate and actually some Jet Puff marshmallow in, which was really nice. But I think the coolest thing of the whole Crooked Fence collab was I got the poster done for that's the poster. There's a label that's coming out with it. So Kelly Knopp, the original artist, did the car. And so, the old artwork was the car careening off a cliff underwater, like sinking down to the bottom. So now he redid it, and the car is at the bottom.
Yeah.
And
it looks like it's
sunk.
Days.
And we have our mural on the wall is the big pirate ship, which is right next to you there.
Yep.
And so the label and the pirate ship coincide. So the pirate ship goes up above, and we're actually seeing, like, the goal is to make it look like the pirate ship has landed where Crooked Fence was, and we're going down below to salvage the beers. So it's kind of a fun, kind of a fun way to tie it all together.
Nice.
So getting to work with Kelly was like just a fantastic thing.
Yeah, Kelly's a great dude.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kelly. Yeah, he's there. If you see any of my videos or anything, I have some old artwork of his. That's for sure. His artwork. I mean, I don't know if I'd say it was the best thing, but it was one of the best things about Crooked Fence for sure was the artwork and the labels. It was awesome.
It's like you can tell his art from anywhere too. It's just kind of an iconic feel to it.
For sure.
As far as and I always think when I see I think the old Crooked Fence days. Yeah. They built a great community there, and I that's kind of where I really got into craft beer. When they first opened, I met a lot of my friends down there, or here, I guess, since we're in the parking lot. But I met them, and we hung out down there a lot. And then I grew up in Emmett, so I would go by Crooked Flats.
Oh, right.
And I spent a lot of time at Crooked Flats. So yeah, it was fun.
We did some brew Olympics and stuff like that at Crooked Flats. It was kind of fun. My cousin used to live right next door to there. But that's funny. Well, that's interesting that you kind of go on the way back to kind of show some respect to maybe some of the breweries that came before. Are there any other breweries that were here before that you sort of look at and kind of see as a good measuring stick or a way to kind of move forward with what you're doing?
I think the first craft brewery I went to when I turned 21 was Table Rock, and because I was a couple months after 21, and I went in there and I just thought this is a neat place. You could kind of see the brewery operations in the tanks, and I was like, I didn't know anything about it, but it was just kind of neat to be a part of that. So I think about those guys a lot. I still have one of these, the mugs with their logo on it that's actually still kind of kicking.
I think I have a growler.
Oh yeah, right on. I actually have a Crooked Fence growler card that's completely full, and it's on the free growler fill.
Nice.
And so I think I might just hang it up here because I'll never use it, but.
Yeah, I think I had a Crooked Fence growler for quite some time too. It might have gotten lost in one of the last moves, but that's cool. That's really interesting that you really kind of feel something with Crooked Fence there, and it was a place you kind of went to, and that's a lot of fun. What other of their beers did you like? Did you enjoy?
Crooked Fence?
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot. So when I went to them, I wanted to do the Sins and the Hop Notion because I remember drinking a lot of those.
Sure.
The 3-Picket Porter was pretty tasty. The Rusty Nail was kind of a go-to because you could get the Hop Notion and the Rusty Nail at most gas stations around town. And even when the growler fill stations kind of came out 10 years ago, we would do those two, and it's like $10 for a growler fill. It was great.
Yeah. I always liked Sins. Sins was always my favorite that they did, and then Hot Motion probably was next.
Yeah. So I asked Jeff about it, and Jeff was like, he's the owner, and he's like, I'll let you do these if you'll make the Aviator too, because that was my wife's favorite beer.
Oh,
She's sad she
one?
could never have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a great compromise. I'd be happy to do that. And we've had good feedback with that one too. So I actually
another cool label, the Aviator.
Yeah, I don't remember actually having the Aviator. I probably had it because I hung out there a lot, but I just don't remember.
If you were into hops and stuff like that, you probably didn't gravitate that towards the raspberry wheat.
When they came out too, I was trying to like IPAs, so I would go anywhere and just try any IPA just so I could get used to it. So I probably was more of a hophead back then.
Well, Garden City does have a really good, in this bar, I'm reminded of when Barbarian opened up here. And I like that you guys have extended the bar a little bit. A little bit bigger.
I tried to listen to the folks that were here for years, and a lot of folks were saying to me, we didn't like when the door would open behind us and it was cold, or people would come right behind me and try to order rather than going over to the barrel. And I thought, well, that's really easy. So we just opened the other door, and we try to funnel folks in that way. So if you want to sit at the bar, you can come around, and if you want to sit at a table, you just kind of run right into the ordering station. So
the number one thing I would say was when the door opened. That was Also, I think there were only like 4 or 5 seats, so it was really like kind of packed at the bar.
We can barely get 4 at that bar at the back.
Yeah,
you can get 5 if you're really comfortable with those folks.
Really get in, but I mean, Garden City has been a pretty cool spot for breweries. I mean, what you get is you get a really nice like built-in crowd. Have you found that you've gotten kind of not easy, but you've gotten regulars in sort of a quick way being out here?
Yeah. So the initial spot, I found that really quick, and it might have taken 3 or 4 months for people to kind of come in. But geez, I wasn't even worried about opening a spot so close. It's less than 2 miles away, so it's fairly close.
Yeah.
But the goal was to do 2 things, do something totally different, and then try to attract a whole nother clientele to this place. Over there, we've had a really, really good luck with folks that just live right up the hill in that neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I can pull in the parking lot and tell you the names of anybody that's in there just by seeing their car now.
Yeah.
And it's probably the best thing for a small business is to establish that kind of relationship with folks. Some people I see every day, every other day. And it just keeps your lights on, and keeps your power going, and keeps your rent paid, and they found it as like a second home, and I thought that would take years for us, and I couldn't be more happy to have like 30 folks that we see
you sort of
weekly.
got a perfect storm too, because Clairvoyant shut down right around the corner. I mean, just
about a year after, but they just opened too. And
but before that it was County Line.
Yeah,
and whatever else it was.
And a lot of those folks hung out at County Line like they hang out at my place now. So they were kind of displaced, and some of them went to Clairvoyant, and some of them went to our place, and it was really a perfect storm. Is a good way to kind of describe it, because if we would have been 6 months later or 6 months earlier. 6 months earlier might have been okay, but 6 months later they would have found another place. So
it really does work out well. I mean, you're right there, and then the only real competition you have over there is homebrew stuff, and that's not even really competition, because you're a brewery, so you have your own beer, and then they have whatever else people want over there.
It's a totally different feel. They're a bottle shop, and gosh, I spend more money in there than I spend in my place. I'm always over there. Hey, I need 2 pounds of this, or 5 pounds, or Gary sold me a bag of rice rolls the other day because I ran out and I didn't want to order one, because you have to, if you order it, it comes on a pallet.
Right.
So, and those guys have been so good as neighbors. Today I borrowed their forklift.
Nice.
They're just fantastic
Gary's
folks.
the best.
Yeah, Gary.
Shout out to Gary. He's a nice guy. Having used to work for that company, I still know all the guys that work there.
We actually brewed one of Gary's beers. He brought me a bottle of his Honey Blonde, and I was like, we got to make this. And Jeremy, who's been there for years.
Jeremy, sure.
We do his Scotch Light, and we're about to do a different one of his beers for winning the homebrew competition. So,
Jeremy?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. So I try to keep a good tight relationship with those guys, because they really are fantastic.
That's awesome. And so let's get to some of your beers here. We're snacking on one right now. This is a porter. What is this one called?
This is called Breaking Beard. which I thought was kind of funny because I released it a few days into January. So, when you break bad, you go from being a good person to like, I don't know, bad person.
That's what they tell me.
If you're in Breaking Bad, you're a meth dealer. If you're here, you're just drinking a beer outside of your dry January. So, yeah, it's not as exciting, but it's a delicious beer. Don't see a lot of brown porters in town. I see a lot of porters. Porter's a great style, but I went with a brown porter, which is just more brown malt. And I thought brown beard, brown porter, we've had it on before and it did really well. So it's probably something that I'll try to bring back, wintertime every year.
It's got a nice color to it. It definitely looks like a brown porter. It is see-through. You can see kind of through it a little bit with a little amber hue. It's got a nice white, kind of off-white colored head that sort of sticks to the glass. And it's got really nice, those English kind of toffee flavors with a little bit of like bitter chocolate. Stuff like that. So
for a 5.4% beer, I feel it's like a good, robust, full-flavored porter, but something that you don't have to feel guilty about if you have 2 or 3, because it's still on the light side.
I feel like I'm still good for my dry January too, because it's under 6%. So
right on.
I know in Russia they.
Hey, did you break beer today on the show?
Not today. No,
good.
Okay. I talked about it last week. And it is something I've been trying to do. And actually, this cold that I've had has been a really good help with it.
It helps.
Yeah, it really
helps
does
a
help.
lot.
Because I can't taste. I had before maybe yesterday I couldn't taste anything. So now I can taste a little bit. And so it's nice to have a beer.
Perfect.
This is actually probably the first beer I've had in about a week.
Well, that you can even taste. Yeah, hey, perfect. I'm glad it was here.
What else do we have on tap back here?
I think the most notable beer of mine. There's 15 here and 4 in the back.
Okay.
So. I have a few stouts at the moment. I just sold out of our Golden Stout, and that's like my flagship or most notable beer. So that's a Golden Stout. We use coffee beans and vanilla, and I age it on, because since I haven't had room to do a rum barrel, I do like oak chips from a rum barrel. I just buy a whole bunch of them. And so the goal with that was like a White Russian, and that's our highest rated, like most sought after beer. I actually have folks that'll come in and to my old location. If it's not on the menu, they'll just leave. And I'm like, I swear it's coming. And he's like, I'm coming back. But it's funny. It's really funny. So they
don't see the Golden Stout on, and they just turn around and
that's right.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, it's called the Beard Labruski, as like a nod to the dude, because I love the show, and great show. There's actually a rule with that beer. I have a friend that's a certified Dudist priest, which is, I guess, there's an actual religion based off of the movie.
Sure.
And so he's certified. So every time we brew that beer, he comes in and blesses that beer.
Weird.
So it's a weird thing. But he loves it. So it's an actual thing where mostly it's just a joke, but it's not a Beard Labruski unless it's been blessed by a real life Dudist priest.
I love it. That's awesome.
It's just something fun we can do that's just different.
So we're out of that right now.
Out of that one, I have and that beer, along with the Sins of Our Fathers, makes one heck of a good black and tan.
Nope.
So the Labruski's in the tanks, so we'll be back. But I've got a Sins of Our Fathers. I did an experimental IPA, which is very similar to like the hazy that I made. It's just up the bitterness, so got a lot of nice juicy flavors to it, tropical and citrus, but it's also quite bitter. I love, if I'm not drinking a barrel-aged stout, I'm trying to drink like a German or a German lager or like a German beer. So those are my favorites. So right now I have a German Dunkel on. Plans to do the Hefeweizen again. I did a Czech Pilsner, and then we have we have a couple of the Crooked Fence beers on, and I've got my own American lager, obviously, great beer, and I've got a cask aged Scotch ale that I did in. A friend of mine's a lawyer, hell of a nice guy, and he helped. He was kind of the inspiration behind this because he loves Scotch. So we did a Scotch cask aged Scotch ale.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's not peaty. Like the Devil's Breath is a beer we did with the Talbot brothers. Super smoky and peaty. You gotta like smoked beer. Well, you gotta really like smoked beer. But it was a hell of a good beer. It tasted like Islay Scotch. This is more like a Highland or a Macallan, like a Highland Scotch.
A little more on the sweet side.
Sweet, robust, ton of nice flavors, like full flavored, full bodied malty beer.
Nice.
I'll let you try that if you're interested here.
I'm always interested. Any type of Scotch, I'm interested in. Highland, Lowland,
Inland,
Seattle,
outside of the island, Seattle.
Post Falls. really anywhere.
There's a little pour of that. So that did 65 days on the oak in our bright tank, and it came out real nice.
Did you use staves or chips?
Staves. Yeah, and so the name Velvet Hammer was from one of my regulars. He comes in weekly. I see him once a week. His dad had a brewery in their garage when he was a kid. He's like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, Colorado. And he called it Crapshoot Brewing, which was just a fun thing they did, like most home brewers. And they made this beer called the Velvet Hammer. So I had them come in while he was in town, and he brewed it with me. So it's his family's recipe. It's just like a kind of a fun homebrewer collaboration I did. And I took half of it and I barrel aged it, or it gave it that feeling. It's not technically barrel aged, but I gave it that feel and tried to do something really unique for him.
What's
and
the base beer?
really
Is it a
nice.
Scotch ale?
Yeah, like it'd be like a wee heavy Scotch.
Yeah, it's kind of on. It's a little bit more refreshing than what I would normally consider like a wee heavy. But it's got all those flavors, and it's got a really nice like kind of Scotch flavor too. There's some raisin in there as well, some vanilla. It's a really nice little beer.
Yeah, the oak added a lot of depth, and it's not heavily oaked as far as the wood on the palate. It's just you get a lot of the Scotch flavors that you're looking for in it.
Nice.
So it's really it turned out to be a really nice beer.
It does have it does have some of that.
Crystal clear, just kind
It's
of
really
a
nice
fun.
looking, too.
Yeah, perfect hue. When you get I had someone come in the other day and they got Sins of Our Father, so black beer, like all totally dark. That was like red hue, and then there was the Aviator, which is kind of reddish gold, and then the Lager, which is totally gold. Really cool, like color palette to see on a
very
flight
aesthetically pleasing for you. Right?
Exactly right. Like you might have ordered the absolute best option for as far as color palette goes.
So let's talk a little bit more about maybe some of your influences. So you grew up in Emmett.
Yeah.
What sort of breweries maybe from outside of town did you also look at? What were some beers that sort of got you into craft beer?
So there was nothing in Emmett, and I got out of Emmett when I was 18 immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Came over, and I didn't start enjoying. I joined the Army in 2009, and I came home in 2011, and it was 11. And I hadn't really had maybe like a few college beers, on the down low, but hadn't had a craft beer. And so I moved in with a roommate of mine from the Army, and our goal was we got to learn to like IPAs because they're not going away. And so we would go down to Albertsons and buy a bomber. And so we tried to stick with a lot of local stuff. So back in the day, I was drinking Crooked Fence. I was drinking a lot of Sockeye and the Outlaw from Payette when it was still the Outlaw. Mm-hmm. Those I really liked. As far as and that kind of those were some, and then Ninkasi and there's a few other breweries just from back in the day that it kind of really got me turned on to craft beer. The Crooked Fence culture, with just the folks that hung out there, we had a lot of fun there. Yeah. So that was another thing that really got me into like the brewery scene. And more recently, gosh, I'll drink anything new from Breakside that I can find.
Oh yeah.
The brewer does such fantastic work. He uses an interesting technique of building his recipes backwards. So he starts with like the dry hop and the Whirlpool editions, and builds IBUs from there. And so sometimes, like in a book I was reading, he does a 5-barrel batch, and he uses like less than a pound of bittering hop just to keep the kettle like stable. And then builds his hops from like the 15 and 10 5-minute edition and through the Whirlpool. That's why you can get such big, vibrant, juicy flavors out of those beers. Just so I kind of learned from that. I was reading that book in 2017 or 18, so I learned a little bit from there.
Have you had a chance to meet Ben yet?
No, I haven't. And,
no, you gotta go to NABA. He's there. He's usually there.
Yeah. I've never had enough beer to be able to do a competition. I sent the only thing I've ever done is send the Devil's Breath beer off to Great American Beer Festival, and we got really good notes, and it made it to at least the second round. But we didn't hear anything after the first round, because you never do. Yeah. So we had good feedback and everything on it, just didn't place or anything, obviously.
Gotcha.
But never had enough beer to send anywhere. To do anything. So I think now we're there. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and talk about this promotion you guys are doing, where you have minted a bunch of coins, and you're giving them away as part of this promotion. You got a real treasure hunt going
That's right. We're pirates, and we're trying to give away the golden coin.
We'll talk about that right after this. The holidays are over, but that does not mean giving up on the holiday cheer. And the best way to get to cheer is through beer. And that's why you need a Boise Beer Buddies card. This card and the amazing Boise Beer Buddies app unlock incredible savings at the best restaurants, bars, breweries, and even a bunch of great wineries in Idaho. Many save you $1 or more. Some save you as much as 25% off your whole bill. The best part is you make other beer buddies through Boise Beer Buddies' amazing social media connection pages. Save money on beers you're already buying. Upgrade your cheer and be a buddy by picking up your Boise Beer Buddies card today. Use promo code IdahoBooze at checkout. Get a free card with the purchase of one at BoiseBeerBuddies.com. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Kuntz, here with Bryce Tuttle from Brown Beard Brewing. Bryce?
Yes, sir.
We are here in the Pirate Den at the Barrel Room in Garden City, and we are here in part because Bryce has a new promotion coming up wherein he will be giving out coins to people on Wednesdays. You come in. Well, Bryce, why don't you go ahead and explain?
Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing. Brown Beard, when I was at the original location, I was always there. So you always saw me. And Brown Beard made sense. But since I'm kind of bouncing between both places and usually in the brewery, you don't see me as much. So Brown Beard... and we were always kind of loosely pirate themed, so now we could really lean into it. So with the whole Brown Beard pirate themed brewery, we have made our own coins, and we're doing something that's called the Quest for the Golden Coin. So you get on every Wednesday, you can come in and you buy your beer. It's basically a 2 for $10 deal. So it's a great value for a beer. And with the $10, you'll get your pint of beer that day. You can buy whatever beer you want. It doesn't have to be a pint. It can be a Snifter or whatever. But you'll get your beer and you'll get a coin randomly drawn from the actual treasure.
It's a big treasure chest. Yeah, there's a big treasure chest filled with coins.
So your odds are pretty good. There's 150 coins in the treasure chest. 25 are golden. So it's not terribly awful odds to get one.
Yep.
So when you get a golden coin, okay, let's start with the gray coin. You get your beer and you get a coin. If it's gray, that means you can use that for any pint-sized beer any day of the week, no matter what.
You come back in and use the coin to buy a beer.
And you can use it that day. You can use it on Saturday. You can use it whatever day we're open. It doesn't matter. And so you bring the coin in, you can exchange it for a beer.
Okay.
If you want to collect them over the course of the season, that we'll call it a season, because once all the coins are gone, we'll have new coins with a different logo.
You're going to be doing different coins.
Yeah, so there'll be 5 total. 5 total different coins. And if you get all 5 of the gray coins, you'll get entered into some raffles for different types of merch.
Like all 5 of the different
designs. And then if you get a gold coin, that coin's worth any beer, any wine, anything that you want. If you want to collect it, you can keep it, which I recommend. And if you don't want to collect them, you just want the opportunity to get a gold coin and spend it, you could get barrel-aged beer, like a canned cocktail, a glass of wine, whatever you want. And so at the end of the season, if you were able to collect all 5 of these golden coins, we'll have a golden coin party. So we'll invite all the golden coin holders in, and we'll do a raffle, just like a random drawing. We'll put everyone's name in a hat. The winner of the raffle will get a 1-year Monk Club membership for our brewery.
Boom.
Everyone that collects all 5 golden coins will get their name on a big piece of wood up above the cooler here, and so it's like the coin holders Hall of Fame.
You've talked me into it. I'm in.
So with the Hall of Fame, you'll get happy hour prices every day, all the time. Yes.
Nice.
So it doesn't matter if it's our beer, if it's a guest beer, you still get the happy hour price on it.
What's a happy hour beer go?
It's 10% off no matter what.
Okay.
And right now our happy hour is 5 to 7, which is very attainable.
Yeah.
But you can get it on a Saturday at noon if you come in right when we open.
Okay.
As long as you're on the Coin Holder Hall of Fame.
So you come in on Wednesday, you buy a beer, you get a coin.
Yep.
Now if the coin is a gold coin, then you get to redeem that for basically anything in the whole place.
Yes. And then we're going to do special giveaways for anyone that finds a gold coin as well. So this first week, we're going to put everyone that gets, the first 2 weeks, everyone that gets a gold coin will get they'll get a raffle ticket, and we're going to give away a piece of merch. So they can have our hoodie, or they can have the golden Brown Beard t-shirt. or one of the tank tops. We've got zip hoodies, so we can get them a zip hoodie. So
I'd take a tank top right now.
I wouldn't wear it today,
It's
but
tank top weather.
they are incredibly comfortable.
I bet.
So we'll do that, and then in the second to third, the third and fourth week, there's like a special golden sticker that's only available to golden coin holders, and there's a prize wheel in the back from one of the other
Sure.
breweries. So I think like week 5 and 6, we'll just let them spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel.
So it might be like $1 off your pint. You might get nothing. You might get.
You might have to walk the plank.
You might have to walk the. You might have to leave immediately,
Get
or
out.
give me $10.
Ouchie.
I could get a hoodie or something too. So it'll be kind of a fun way
Get a
to
parrot.
include a treasure hunt into what we're doing. And I'm working on, and I have some interest, I'm working on putting some coins out at other breweries. So I need to kind of come up with the guidelines. And but I'd love it if you come in and you get a coin and there's a clue on it, or you just get a clue.
Just have to.
And you have to take that clue to whatever brewery it leads you to, or maybe a different bar, like could be Handlebar, it could be the spot right around the corner here, Heritage Social or Heritage Hop House. If you take it down, then it's like a real treasure hunt.
Yeah.
So if you take the clue there and you buy a beer from them, they'll give you the next clue, and then whoever gets through it gets like a special golden coin. And at the end of the season, if you've got a special golden coin, you can get entered into a raffle for something really fun too.
Well, that's
We're working on trying to make this as much of a treasure hunt and a scavenger hunt and as kind of pirate fuel as we can possibly do. It's just something fun we can.
It sounds like a lot of fun, and I think it's neat that you're employing. It's a nice 2-for-1. I know it sounds like a lot like you're buying a beer for $10, but actually you are getting two.
You're getting two because you can use that coin the same day.
Yeah.
It's totally allowed. You can use it on a Saturday when you're driving by with the family.
And right now the coins they just look like your logo.
Yep.
It's a brown beer
The
logo.
classic anchor and sword brown beard skull logo with
Cool.
the beard. We'll do a couple different and fun ones.
That's awesome. I really dig the promotion. I was really excited to hear about it. I think it's neat. Those coins look badass.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Minted
really
in-house.
excited to see. Yeah, you guys did them in house.
Yep.
And excited to see how that works, and excited to see who wins, who gets out there, and who collects the most coins. I think that.
Mug Club membership is great. We have a
Yeah.
ton of folks at the old spot, and we're going to roll one out here. But 20-ounce mug, always happy hour prices. We do a couple of Mug Club Monday events during the year.
Cool.
But it doesn't have to be on a Monday. We're open here on Mondays, but we would open specifically the other brewery for our Mug Club members. And we did a Mug Club Monday here to give them a preview of this place right before we opened.
Cool.
So they were the first ones to get in and see it. And you get, so Mug Club Mondays, it's like $4 to fill your 20-ounce mug all day.
And how much is a mug club?
So the first year is $125.
Mm-hmm.
You get the mug, and then we do the names on the bottom of the mug. And they're mirrored. So when you're done drinking, you can see your name and your mug number at the bottom of the glass. So it's kind of a fun and just something different.
It is
And then the subsequent years, it's $100 to renew because
So
you'll already have
$125
a
to start with, so you get the mug.
Yep.
And
And
then
a t-shirt.
$100 and a
Yeah,
t-shirt.
yeah.
And then
Mug
it's
Club t-shirt.
and then it's $100 every year after that.
Yeah. So we're gonna because we're gonna keep the same mugs. And because people are actually really attached to them, they're like,
Sure.
I've had several people say, "Do I have to lose this mug?" Like, only if you break it, or if you take it home, I'm not
Yeah.
replacing it. But we've only had one mug break in a year,
It's pretty
and
good.
that was like just a beer tender's, like nothing crazy, just hit the side of the sink, and
Accidents happen.
They have
Dealing
to
with
handle
glassware
that.
here.
we haven't had any issues with them, and people really like them. So
That's cool. What else do you have going on over there at the other place or at this place that,
yeah.
as far as getting people in the doors?
I think the biggest thing that I've got coming up, the Talbot Brothers concert.
Mhm.
They're a band that tours from Nashville to Portland. They go on tour usually once a year. And I met those guys in 2018 after a show. And I just pitched the idea for the Devil's Breath. I said, I was listening to one of your songs, and there's a line in there that says, I looked the devil in the eye and smelled the whiskey in his breath.
Mhm.
And I was drinking my smoked Scotch ale, listening to this with my headphones as I was brewing another beer. And it hit me, and I thought, whoa, that's the perfect name, like the Devil's Breath. And so 6 months later, they came to town, and I pitched this to them after a show. And they're like, you call me when you're ready. This was 2019, actually, because I'd seen them once. And then COVID happened, and then 2021, they came back, and I said, hey, I've got a spot. We're renovating. We're about to open. So will you come do this beer release with me? And they came, and they've done it. And gosh, this will be their fourth show
Wow.
in 2 years.
That's awesome.
And it sells out almost immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a look at, so another benefit of our Mug Club is like pre-sale to any ticketed events or like a newsletter. So
Sweet.
the Mug Club and the Talbot Brothers pre-sale pretty much sold us out like
Nice.
within 2 days.
And you're going to have them in here next.
Yeah, they'll be in the back in the barrel room.
Okay.
And we'll have like just chairs lined up in there, and we bring our stage from the other location over.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fun event. So we try. I'm hoping to get them twice a year.
How many brothers are we talking about?
Two.
It's two.
Yeah.
Is it just two people in the whole band, or is it
Two. Well, they have a touring band. It's like it seems like 1 year they'll tour the duo, and the harmonies and stuff they do are really incredible.
Yeah.
A couple of the tightest musicians as far as stage presence go, I've seen.
Yeah.
And then they'll have the whole band, and they've got Kerry, the guitar player, is insane, and he brings a slide and
Nice.
like a lap steel, and
Like a
he'll
slide,
play,
yeah.
and yeah, they're the whole band's talented. So totally, completely different dynamic when you see them both.
Cool.
And then so we bring them in. We have
So when do they come in, and when do tickets go on sale?
tickets went on sale on Saturday the 11th.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We'll
That's right.
put a link to that in the show
Yeah.
notes.
Well, yeah, and I've got maybe 6 or 7 tickets left. So
Oh, is that it?
It's going quick.
Nice.
Yeah, and we did the pre-sale on the 8th. They went on the 11th, and actually, we're basically sold. So I haven't even promoted it on my Instagram because we sold out so fast. I'm just kind of like letting people find it organically.
Nice.
Because I know it's 3
And what
weeks
date
away.
is that?
It's on March 8th. I'm sorry, February 8th.
February 8th.
Yeah, February 8th.
Okay, the Talbot Brothers
Yeah.
here at the Brownbeard Barrel Room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
it's
our
almost sold out,
2-year
so you probably won't
anniversary
be able to go.
too.
Your 2-year anniversary is
Yeah,
coming
so
up.
that's
All
like-
right,
that's
what's
gonna
going
be
on for your
another-
2 years?
It's gonna be another really fun way to just get some folks in and have some fun. So our opening day, we got the Turtle Poppers, and it was their first show. And now they're like a bluegrass jam band. They're super fun. They play everywhere now. Fairly
Turtle
popular.
Poppers.
Yeah, super popular in town. And so they came back and did our 1 year, and they're going to do our 2 year. And every year they've come, I've had Kanak Attack Food Truck, which is like my favorite food truck.
Nice.
And they catered my wedding, so I love,
Oh, wow.
love those guys. And so we're going to have that exact same day. People just love it. And we're going to do Connor Lease is doing a show the next day. And then the 1 week before, we're going to bring in Too Slim and the Tail Draggers. So he lives in Eagle, but I've seen him a couple times sell out the Sapphire Room.
Cool.
And he's got like
Too Slim in the Tail Draggers.
yeah, he's got like 10 blues awards, like national blues awards, at like the blues awards, and he's been in some bands that were.
And when is your anniversary?
March 8th, March 10th.
That's March 10th.
March 10th. Yeah.
So lots of stuff coming up in the next couple of months.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff.
We've got our gold coin giveaway, our pirate treasure hunt. Then you've got the Talbot Brothers, and then right into your 2-year anniversary.
Yeah, we're gonna release the Sins of Our Fathers barrel aged beer on our anniversary weekend too. So that's something to keep an eye on if you were a fan of that.
In the Willet barrels.
Willet, Four
And
Roses.
4
yeah.
Roses. You gonna blend those?
I'm actually gonna I'll probably do the Willet first, and then sit on the Four Roses for maybe a 2nd year release, so I can let it go a little longer. Maybe this is the Willet. I've done a nail pull on the Willet like last week, and it was very bourbon and oak forward.
yeah.
So it's been under 3 months, but it's like ready. So
Nice.
I'm gonna pull it, and we're gonna bottle that straight. And the Four Roses is good, but it's just not the same. So it's gonna go a little longer. We'll probably end up releasing that. I like the idea of keeping that one, so I can have a release maybe next year or 6 months down the road or something. It's like a Black Friday thing.
Well, I mean, once you start getting barrels in here, though, you never know. You have some more barrels to
I might
release.
need the space.
More fun. Well, you got all those racks, so you can get some more barrels in. Start doing some more blends and stuff like that. You know what's really cool right now? Our rum barrel.
Yeah.
And you guys being a pirate ship basically here, you should look at. Have you had any of those these kind of new rum barrel beers that have been out lately?
I've had a few. Nothing that I remember the name off. Like the Freem Rum Barrel Porter was really nice. Our flagship, we do rum barrel oak chips, so that's like the first beer I'm going to put in a rum barrel. Like as soon as I get a hold
The
of
Golden
one.
Stout?
The Golden Stout.
Nice.
Yeah. So I always do that with rum because it has a bit more of vanilla that comes forward. It doesn't take as long. So yeah, that'll be my first.
No, rum makes an impression pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't even think with the golden it's going to take very long either. It's probably going to be pretty quick turnaround on that.
Nice, and then you got to get it baptized.
Have to get blessed. I probably just need to become a Judas priest myself.
Blessed, sorry. Probably don't need to get it baptized, but we'll get it blessed.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, whatever. However you're going to do that. That's awesome. Lots of good stuff coming up here at Brown Beard. Bryce Tuttle, it's been great. Thank you so much for having me out here to your barrel house.
It's been my pleasure.
It's a real treat. The porter's really good. I really like the brown porter. I can't wait to try more of your beers. And I do hope that you're able to come on the show again and talk about what's coming up for your 3rd-year anniversary.
I'd love that. Yeah, let's plan it. I'd love to get you back, and maybe we can crack some barrels and do some barrel pulls like live.
Now we're talking. That is, we're singing my song right there. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. We're going to be right back with Friday Night Pints right after this.
Right on.
Great job, man.
Thank you.
This show brought to you by Idaho Brewers United. Download the new Idaho Brewers Trail app on Apple or Google today. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to read another ad. I'm just going to open the app up right now and kind of walk you through it. So you go onto the app, and right away you see a bunch of breweries listed here. Powder House, Brown Beard, Alliteration Ales, Brown Beard's Barrel House. We got Loose Screw on here. Sockeye. Here's Burt's Brewing. So let's click on Burt's. Comes up. It has the address, has the phone number. It has all the social medias that you need on there. It has the hours. It has a little blurb about Burt's Brewing. Very cool, very cool. Then you go to events. You can see upcoming events. You go to posts. You see, a bunch of other people that were there. So it looks like Dawn was there 10 days ago. We got a brown porter. Didn't have much to say. I like it, Dawn. Short and to the point. So yeah, you can go and see what other people checked in on, and then you can check in yourself, which I can do right now. And you know what? That's not all I want to do, because obviously you want to get on the Idaho Brewers Trail to start stamping your passport to get rewards from local breweries. So we're going to stamp our passport here. And since I was there the other night and not there right now, it's like, hey, look, you're not there. You got to click manual stamp request. All right, I'll do that. I'm going to put that on there and then I'm submit my request. And hopefully that stamp comes through pretty soon from that big board of people, huge board. So you head to idahobrewers.org, sign up for the newsletter, download the Idaho Brewers Trail app today, start checking in and start getting your stamps and winning cool stuff from idahobrewers.org. It is time for Friday Night Pints. Once again, these are real beers from real breweries that I really went to. For a full list of this week's beers, please head over to idahobooze.substack.com and sign up for my newsletter. It is 100% free and also salmon safe. On to this week's beers. Well, we're going to start with our good friend Bryce at Brown Beard, and we're going to start with that Breaking Brown Porter that I had while we were talking there. This one, it pours brown with an off-white head, does not pour blue. So if you're expecting blue from the Breaking Brown Porter, you're not getting blue. I'm sorry to tell you that. But it is a really pretty beer. It's nice and brown with amber hues sort of offsetting that dark brown porter and a nice kind of caramely colored head. It's an easy drinker with notes of coffee, milk chocolate, and toasted nuts with very little hop bitterness for the porter. Typically, these brown porters, you might get a little bit of that hoppy bitterness, but this one finishes a little sweet, 5.4%. This is on tap at both Brown Beards, and once again, not blue. Just want to reiterate that. Reef Wrecker. This is a juicy IPA from Brown Beard. This one pours clean and golden with a thick white head. It looks a lot like a West Coast style IPA, but drinks more like a hazy with that kind of on the nose. You get peach and apricot and some lime zest. And then that peach really comes through in the flavor. It's a very peachy, very apricot-y beer with a touch of grapefruit and a little bit of lime zest there, and very little bitterness in this one in the finish as well. So a nice little sort of hazy IPA that looks like a West Coast IPA, 6.4% on tap at both Brown Beards. And then the Sins of Our Fathers Imperial Stout. This is from Crooked Fence, but Brown Beard made it for a promotion they did. They did a little thing with the old owners of Crooked Fence. So this one, they must have found the recipe, I think, down at the bottom, the depths of the sea, maybe miles below the surface, because they pretty much nailed it. I mean, it pours inky black with a very white head, just like the old Sins. Bitter chocolate, coffee, toffee, brown sugar all waft up from the glass. The beer slightly sweeter than I remember I could be wrong, but there's more emphasis on kind of the chocolatey aspect of this beer. The Old Sins I felt like was more bitter, had more of that roasty kind of bitter coffee flavor. This one a little bit sweeter with that chocolate. I could be wrong though. Maybe it was more sweet than I remember. Who knows? It was like 7 or 8 years ago when I had it. So I don't know. Finishes dry with a touch of roasted malts and a little bit of that toffee. Very nicely done, Bryce. Nice beer. 10.4% on tap at Brown Beard Barrel House. Oh, also this week, what else did we look at? We got a new lager over there at Burt's Brewing. This is the Hooligan English Lager. This one really nicely flavored, nutty, corn, sort of some almond, light grain, subtle hops in this beer. Drinks really nice and has that sort of soft mouthfeel that a lot of lagers are having these days. 5.4%, 18 IBU on tap at Burt's. And at Gem State, had a couple of beers there. The new one coming out this week is a coconut milk stout. This is their Milky Way with toasted coconut in it. Very pretty beer, inky black, with an off-white head. You get that toasted coconut right away on the nose with a little bit of lactose and coffee. And then that toasted coconut just really dominates the palate in this beer. The sweetness from the lactose, the touch of roasted malts really makes for a nice combination. But if you like coconut or if you love coconut, then this beer is for you because it is very coconutty. And that one goes on tap today at Gem State. And for a full list of beers that I have this week, once again, head over to idahobooze.substack.com and check out my newsletter there. Sign up for it, why don't you? I don't ask for much. Just sign up for my newsletter and, go to warrenreserve.com and use my promo code and go to Treasure Valley Chevron. I don't ask for a lot, is what I'm saying. Anyway, that is Friday Night Pints. That's going to do it. We're going to wrap things up right after this on the Idaho Booze Podcast. This show brought to you by Warren Reserve Cocktail Company. Looking to spice things up in the cocktail department? Try adding a little taste of chili to your next cocktail with Chili Lime Bitters from Warren Reserve. Just 2 drops will give your old-fashioned, whiskey sour, or margarita just the right amount of zing to warm you up in these cold winter months. Want to feel the burn? Just add another 2 drops. Chili Lime Bitters turn a simple Bloody Mary into a beautiful spicy Bloody without adding more mix or booze. Just a couple of drops of Chili Lime Bitters will do ya. Get Chili Lime Bitters at warrenreserve.com, order online, get free delivery, plus save 15% on orders over $40 with my promo code IdahoBooze25 at checkout. That's warrenreserve.com, IdahoBooze25 at checkout. Save tons of money on awesome bitters from Warren Reserve Cocktail Company. Thanks to our good friends at Warren Reserve Cocktail Company. Be sure to use the promo code IdahoBooze25 and you'll get 15% off $40 when you spend $40 or more there at Warren Reserve. That's warrenreserve.com. Be sure to give that coffee pecan old fashioned a try because my goodness, it is delicious. Thanks to Bryce Tuttle at Brown Beard Brewing for having me out to the Barrel House. Had a great time talking to him and trying out those beers. Be sure to get out there on Wednesdays and take part in this treasure hunt. Win some fun prizes and get yourself a little coin as well. Yeah, some nice little coin. Thank you to Sheila at Idaho Brewers United for being such a great friend of the show and great friend overall. Good luck in your future endeavors, Sheila. Really proud of you. Many thanks to Treasure Valley Chevron as well. Finally, thank you all for listening and reading. I really appreciate it. To our new listeners, be sure to go back, check out the catalog. You can see, learn a lot from some of our friends here in the Gem State about their breweries and distilleries and wineries and such. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode of the Idaho Booze Podcast. And this is on Spotify, Apple Pods, YouTube, anywhere fine podcasts are streamed. I'm Steve Kuntz saying see me next week. Good day and good drinking, everyone.